How's it going, everybody? Brett Mix here from Macho Wrestling 101. Here today for Summerslam 2008 review. Hit like and subscribe if you like my videos. We do history of wrestling every day, plus I stick up to date with current stuff. And like always, we'll start off with SummerSlam 2008 by looking at the location. It's Indianapolis, Indiana. It's WrestleMania 8. It's big cities. It's bright lights. I can't do a Ric Flair impression, but that's what he said at WrestleMania 8 when they were in Indianapolis, Indiana. And guess where SummerSlam's from? Indianapolis, Indiana. So I had to give a reference to WrestleMania 8 there. It was August 17th, 2008, and they had the headline by Edge and The Undertaker inside Hell in a Cell. They had Cena versus Batista, so they had a few different big matches. We start off with Taz and Jim Ross, who are calling it for SmackDown, while Michael Cole and the King are commentating for Raw. And we have a match between MVP and Jeff Hardy. And just knowing Jeff Hardy openers like No Way Out 2003 with Chris Jericho, for instance, or Survivor Series, or any of the tag 2002, or of any of the tag matches he's usually been in, he knows how to open a pay-per-view off. And if you're starting off with a Hardy, it's going to be a good sign of things to come for the night. He and MVP worked a pretty quick match here. Jeff Hardy hit a lot of the offense in the comeback as MVP controlled the first half. Hardy hit a side Russian leg sweep, and then get MVP. He tried to get a slam on MVP, but he countered. And then Jeff countered back with a whisper in the wind off the top for a 2. Shelton Benjamin, the U.S. champion, showed up at ringside to distract Hardy. And then MVP came by with a move called the drive-by, and for the pinfall at 10:21 of the action, as Jeff was distracted by Shelton Benjamin. Good match here. I give it 3 stars. I thought it was a serviceable opener. And like I said, Jeff Hardy was over, and he got the fans to cheer him on in the opening match of the night. Next up, we got an intergender winner-take-all match with the Intercontinental and Women's title with Kofi Kingston and Mickie James versus Santino Marella and Beth Phoenix. The duo of James and Kingston are obviously the baby faces. Santino is a heel here, with Beth Phoenix, the Glamazon, who was just starting to become dominant in the WWE. This was more of a comedy segment than it was really a wrestling match. It only went 5:35. Phoenix hit James in the back with the forearm. Phoenix hit the Glam Slam on Mickie for the pinfall win at 5:35, as I said. Not a very long match. There's some good action in it, but not really enough to weave it away from it just being a comedy bout. So I rated 1.5 stars, half a star just for the comedy of Santino. I mentioned the comedy a few times just because Santino made everything he did around this time a comedy act. There was even a backstage segment with Maria where Beth Phoenix said, "He's all yours," because Santino was acting like a goof. We had a big segment with Shawn Michaels and his wife Rebecca and Chris Jericho on this night. There was no match with Shawn Michaels or Chris Jericho on the event, but they had a big segment where he had his eye injured by Jericho, so he was thinking about retiring. And basically what ended up happening is Shawn gave a heartfelt speech, and he was going to retire, and Jericho came out and said, "You have to tell the fans that you're retiring because of Chris Jericho." And Shawn told him if he had any decency, he'd leave the ring. And Jericho went to go punch Shawn, and Shawn moved out of the way and hit Rebecca, and Rebecca sold it like he knocked her out. And this added fuel to the fire as Shawn Michaels just relentlessly went after his wife as if she just caught a vicious attack, and she was knocked out as Jericho. He's in a suit here as a heel. And that's what he did at the time, calling everybody parasites and hypocrites. That was a great time for Chris Jericho. He was the top heel at the time, and Shawn Michaels really put over this segment, and Jericho did a great job. Even Rebecca did a great job. Everybody did a good job in this. It sent the feud over to Unforgiven, where they had an unsanctioned match, and No Mercy, where they have a classic ladder match. So it was a great feud between Michaels and Jericho, and that was a good segment that wasn't a match. Next up, we have the ECW Championship. Mark Henry with Tony Atlas versus Matt Hardy. This wasn't much. Hardy opened up with punches. Mark Henry went with the forearm and went back and forth. Hardy avoided charge, and Matt hit the twist of fate early. Matt covered, but Atlas pulled Matt out of the ring. The ref called for the bell due to DQ at 31 seconds. And Matt Hardy wins by DQ, but Mark Henry remains the ECW champion. What do I rate this? A half a star, just because it had something in it. I don't want to rate it a total dud. It went half a minute. But obviously, wrestling wasn't what we needed here. Jeff Hardy ran for the save, and he threw Atlas into the ring apron and hit a swanton bomb onto the floor. So Jeff was protecting his brother there. Next up, we have CM Punk versus JBL for the World Heavyweight Championship. This was a typical JBL heel match. He was in control for a lot of it. CM Punk came back in the end and hit his repertoire of moves. He got hit in the back of the head, and he was busted open in this match. And there's a replay that showed why he was bleeding from the back of his head. And while it showed that JBL hit Punk, it shows while JBL hit his head. CM Punk got back up. He hit the go-to-sleep knee to the face and covered for the pinfall at 11:09 once he got into the climax of the match. And CM Punk won the match and retained the world title. He wouldn't keep the world title, obviously, because they wanted the world title for the Jericho and Shawn Michaels program. But he retained versus JBL, and the fans liked that outcome. I give the match 3 stars and a half. I thought it was a good one for a JBL beatdown type match. I like the comeback by CM Punk, so I rated 3.5 stars because there was enough quality there to keep you entertained. Next, we had the WWE title on the line, Triple H and the Great Khali. Triple H was the face defending the title. Khali was the monster heel. For a Great Khali match, Triple H made it watchable. I rated it about 1.5 stars. You deduct a lot of stars with Great Khali, but you also have to point out what a good job Triple H did. And the fact that it went almost 10 minutes, it went 9:18, and Triple H won with a pedigree, even getting out of Khali's trapezius hold and face claw. Triple H weathered the "you can't wrestle" chants to Khali, and he got them to try and believe that he was wrestling a giant, even though he was a giant, but you know what I mean, a giant in the wrestling ring, not really. Khali, he doesn't have a varied offense, to say the least. He's not Ricky Steamboat or Bret Hart in there. I should say Bret. Or Dean Malenko, he's the one with 1,000 holds. So I think we all knew that about Khali. But Triple H made a decent bull match if you consider that it was 9 minutes. I gave it 1.5 stars. Next, we had Cena and Batista as the first of the 2 main events take place. They showed in the video package how Cena and Batista's careers have paralleled, both being in OVW at the same time, both coming up in 02, both being rookies. Batista was Decon Batista, and Cena was, before he was rapper John Cena, he was the Ruthless Aggression John Cena. They both won the world titles on the same night, WrestleMania 21. They both faced off at the 2005 Rumble, where they clusterfucked, both going out at the same time. And they showed that they dominated the last 3 years on their respective brands, and now they're meeting for the first time at SummerSlam. So it was a good match, and the story of the match was good too. Batista and Cena went back and forth. The counter wrestling was really good in this one. The turning point of the match was the counter match when Cena went up. He went to hit a leg rope from the top, but that's when Batista countered it into a powerbomb. Just a 2 count from that, as we thought maybe that was a Batista bomb, but he ended up kicking him to the face and then hit a proper Batista bomb after that and got the victory at 13:44. I rate the match 4 stars. I think it was a classic. They did a lot together in the ring, and the drama that took place. 4 stars, no question. And now after that, we got a Hell in a Cell match to main event this pay-per-view between Edge and The Undertaker. Edge, of course, was the heel. coming in. He was the rated R superstar. He was. It's funny, this happened in the summer of 2008. I was in Vegas at the time as I just turned 21. So I was gambling down there, and I just remember it being on the same night where I was walking around downtown on the Strip. My first time to Vegas. So it was memorable. So I didn't watch this pay-per-view live, but I watched it when I came back to town. And I can't remember if it was online or not. I can't remember how I watched it. I think I watched it online. And I just remember Edge, because this was the summer the Dark Knight came out. And I just remember Edge being kind of like Heath Ledger's Joker and Undertaker resembling Batman. And then they both were the main feud in a Hell in a Cell. So I just thought, because somebody posted on the forums back then the picture of Edge with Heath Ledger's makeup. And I just thought it was kind of coincidental that the two types sort of faced off at the same night, because that movie did pretty well out here. The Edge and Undertaker match also did well. Coming in, you could expect what kind of match you're going to see. A lot of Edge and Undertaker matches are repetitive, but this one they went outside the realm to be creative. Nice spear by Edge to the Undertaker through the cell wall. Edge speared the Undertaker on an announce table through another announce table. The Undertaker chokeslammed Edge through a table on the outside of the ring. The Undertaker hit a tombstone. Bloody Undertaker, 26-43. This match is 4 stars and a quarter, I give it. Undertaker went over, and then at the end he set up a ladder and sent Edge all the way to hell in a cell. Through the ring, through hell, and then the fire lit. It was an awesome closing sequence. The pay-per-view SummerSlam 2008, I think you got to give it a 7.5 out of 10. 2 matches over 4 stars. The great Shawn Michaels segment. Other decent undercard matches like Jeff Hardy. The Jeff Hardy match in the opener. CM Punk JBL match was good too. 3.5 stars there. So I think 7.5 out of 10. Maybe even 8 is fair, but I'll stick to 7.5. I'll stick to what I originally had said. So that's SummerSlam 2008. Any opinions are welcome in the discussion forum as always. Hit like and subscribe if you like my reviews or my videos. And I'm Brett Mix. We'll see you on the next one. And I'm out.